Terera, 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 a change radio. Terera, 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 a change radio. Terera, 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 a change radio.
Thank you, Change Radio. Good evening, everyone. To those that we can see and to those that we can't see, we just want to say a big thank you to Change Radio for hosting this very important space where Zimbabweans and other sympathizers or supporters are most welcome to come and join us as we talk about some of the important issues coming out of Zimbabwe. My name is Patricia Chinyoka, and I am a co-host for tonight. Just a little bit about myself. I'm very passionate about human rights, justice, being an advocate, speaking out and fighting for the rights of all, because we are all created equal and we all should be treated with respect and dignity, regardless of our beliefs or political affiliation. I think that is just a basic human right that we all should have. But sadly, it doesn't seem to be the way in some countries, including our own Zimbabwe. So this evening, we thought we would just come together to have a conversation about the continued human rights violations in Zimbabwe. There are so many issues that are happening at the moment in the country that we should be focusing on. And the 2030 agenda is a no, no, no. And I know there are a lot of conversations that are happening everywhere with those that believe in two terms, those that believe in the upholding of our constitution are talking about and denying the fact that a political party, because a political party is not Zimbabwe, a political party had a meeting, they decided what they wanted to do, their own resolutions, that should not translate to Zimbabweans have said they want the 2030 agenda. So that is an important topic. But in the middle of all of that, to cause chaos and confusion, the Zimbabwe Republic Police, who are captured by the state, decided to go hunting for two individuals. And one of those individuals is Godfrey Karembera, also known as Madzibaba Veshanduko. And he is a renowned opposition political figure. He is a renowned champion for democracy. And he's had so many run-ins and challenges with the current regime. Last year, his son had some issues and people were helping with that scenario. And this time round, he's been arrested, severely tortured. He's in great pain as we speak, and he's been denied medical aid. So a doctor and a nurse went in today to try and see him, and that was denied. It is not that the prison officials don't want him treated, but they would have had, I guess the authority comes from somewhere. Higher authorities would have told the prison officials not to allow any medical attention. He's been in court seeking bail, and that too has been denied. And we know how the bail system works. Every person that's arrested, until they are proven guilty, have the right to bail. But if you are of a different political affiliation in Zimbabwe, the likelihood of you getting bail is zero. And so we want to see how this is going to play out. That's why it's so important for us to come together to talk about it, and to think about what action we can take. I mean, the majority of us are in the diaspora, and there's a number of things that we can do. But I think it would be good to hear from yourselves. So I'm not going to be doing all the talking. I can see that Kuzai has come up. I'm going to keep quiet now. and hand over to Kuzai. And if there's anybody here that wants to talk, this is a conversation that we all should be having. It is not about me. It's not about Change Radio. It is not about the names and faces and voices that you might hear that always advocate for these issues. Is for all of us together as one, as Zimbabweans, with our supporters who are non-Zimbabweans, to raise our voices and say, enough, it is enough. We can no longer take what is being meted out to our fellow Zimbabweans. Thank you. Over to you, Kuzai.
Good evening, host and the co-host. Good evening, Zimbabwe. I don't know if you can hear me clearly.
Yes, loud and clear. Thank you.
Okay, well, since you are using English, I will also try to use English, but maybe at grade 7 level as usual. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak on this platform. I thought also it is necessary because some of the Zimbabweans, they wanted me to say something, especially commenting on the situation in Zimbabwe. There is this new development in Zimbabwe. If there is anything which the regime is in panic of, is unity of the people. The regime thrives on divide and rule. Whenever they see some signs of unity, the regime straight away goes in panic mode. The thing which we have experienced, which we were not aware of, is when I managed to interact with Madzibaba Veshanduko. Though it was not planned, but just because we were all working in a revolution, we came to meet and decided to promote the 17 October demonstration announced by Commander Geza together. Little did we know that it is going to shake the whole system in ZANU PF and the system of Zigananda. The level of the heavy hand which they applied after was shocking. Then later, we need people to understand the issue of 2030. There were difficulties of people coming together on the 2030 agenda because all of us, we believe in a constitution. The constitution doesn't allow anything like what is being proposed by Mnangagwa and Zigananda to happen. But when that BBI document was presented and everybody noticed the way they want to dribble the people of Zimbabwe, in fact, the people of Zimbabwe noticed that that is a legal coup which they need to apply. A coup without the military. That's when people decided to come together. And that unit again send waves to the system, and the regime again is in panic mode. That's why they are now applying this heavy hand on Madzibaba Veshanduko. To set the record correct, I personally was never involved in anything to do with the distribution of flyers. But when the regime failed to locate me, they tried to create a story about me, a case of distributing of flyers, connecting me with Madzibaba Veshanduko. But the intelligence which we got is they had an instruction that I was supposed to be shot to kill. That was the instruction from the system. The way I was protected, it is because those people who work around me, they picked that information earlier and they put securities around me. Then with Madzibaba Veshanduko, I tried to inform him, Madzibaba Veshanduko, there is this information which is circulating. How do you take it? I liked one thing about Madzibaba Veshanduko. He trusts people in his opposition better than anyone else. Even myself, he doesn't trust me. He said, Saruwaka, I got the same information, but the comrades whom I work with, they said they will put securities around me. So if you have people who can put securities around you, please do likewise, because I got the same information this side. Then I said, well, let me try to make moves. So the regime is in panic, and the source of panic is one: unity. The regime is afraid of the unity of the people. That's what I need to share with the people of Zimbabwe. I don't want to share more details of what is happening because I have a lot to share. But there are a lot of things which are happening. We have cases in courts. We must allow them to do things according to their way. But we are monitoring them. But to the people of Zimbabwe, continue supporting Madzibaba Veshanduko and all the comrades who are behind bars. In a struggle, we always have this saying, Muchengete wana. That's my appeal to the people of Zimbabwe. In terms of the legal and whatever, I know organizations will make a plan. But there is this missing link which we always have when people are arrested. Vana vanosara vasina anochengeta. So my appeal to the people of Zimbabwe is, we are in this situation of the struggle. Please, muchengete vana. That's all I can say for now.
Thank you so much for that. And it's really, I guess, emotional just hearing from someone who was actually involved in what was going on in Zimbabwe and leading up to the arrest. Do you know, even where you have security in Zimbabwe, I find that sometimes the regime penetrates and they find ways of getting to the people that they want to get to. Because I remember once I was caught up in a situation where they wanted to arrest Promise Mkwananzi. And stayed there for a number of months. It's really sad to hear, isn't it, that the regime fears unity. That's why it's important for us to unite, regardless of whether you like me, don't like me. But if we come as one, in one accord, and agree to fight together, to fight the regime and to raise our voices together, they are more afraid of that than anything else, because they know that when we speak up, other people also start speaking up. And then the whole country. You know, Zimbabweans are quite gentle people. They can be an uprising. I mean, we've seen bigger dictators get overthrown and die, people that we never ever thought would get overthrown. And they were overthrown and they died and they've gone. We're not saying that that's what we want people to die in Zimbabwe. It's just an example I'm giving that people can be removed out of government. Things can end, but it starts with us coming together as we have done tonight and having these conversations. Now, I just wanted to ask you, are you safe yourself as we speak?
What I can say to the people of Zimbabwe is I am very safe, and I'm being protected by the people of Zimbabwe. I can confirm now I am very, very safe. But the people who are protecting me is the people of Zimbabwe. There is no plan whatsoever. When Mnangagwa, if they make a decision when they are two, that other person will send information to the closest people around us. If there are three, it's better. What I need to know, to tell the people of Zimbabwe, is the regime is finished. It's only a countdown. You cannot have a situation where people will protect Mnangagwa at the expense of us, Madzibaba Veshanduko, and all the young Zimbabweans who are fighting for a better future. Nothing like that will happen. Where people will protect Mnangagwa, who is whatever, who is the best before, at the expense of the youth of Zimbabwe and the young people of Zimbabwe. That will never happen. People will protect their future. So I am very safe.
Thank you very much for that. And I think you also touched on the point that maybe you can speak in Shona if you want to. It's just that sometimes we get people who are non-speaking, Shona or Ndebele, and so we have to try and accommodate for those individuals. But when very free kutaura neshona kana vachida kutaura neshona or Ndebele, I can understand Ndebele, but andigona kutaura Ndebele. So people can just speak in the language that they're more comfortable with, because this is a space about having a conversation as Zimbabweans. So come as you are, and if there's anyone that wants to share or ask questions, please feel free to do so. You touched on a very important point, Yekutijo, Musasievana, we mustn't forget the children, because in these kinds of scenarios, the breadwinner is often the one that gets arrested, gets incarcerated, and is more or less just grabbed from the family, and the family are left without a plan, without knowing what to do. Change Radio have a donation link. I don't know if it's possible to put the donation link up. And we are asking the kindness of people to donate whatever they can towards the care of Godfrey himself, because he needs medical attention, so he's going to need that. But also his family are going to need some support. This evening, I spoke to my Karembera, and I told her that we were doing a space to recognize Madzibaba Veshanduko, because he's somebody that has stood up, and his voice is well known within Zimbabwe, standing up for the right thing, standing up for change. He's not afraid of speaking out, and so we need to be there at this moment, because he needs us. He's always been there for us, fighting for us and our children. If Zimbabwe were independent today, we'd all be running back to Zimbabwe, back to our own countries. So it's important that we can be there for him today. So any well-wishers that want to donate, if you don't know how, you can inbox Change Radio, you can inbox me, and then we can see what we can do to get some money to his wife. She couldn't come to the space for the obvious reasons. It would be too dangerous, and we wouldn't expect her to do that, to put her life in danger when her husband is already incarcerated by the regime. There's a group of Zimbabweans who had started. So this group of Zimbabweans that started making a small collection. There's a little bit of money already that's there for him, and that money will be passed on directly to my Karembera. So this is also a call to action. Vanokwanisa, those who are able, please see what you can do to make sure that we can support Madzibaba Veshanduko in this hour that he's facing, because we don't know how long he's going to be incarcerated. He's applying for bail. They may not give him bail. And I think that the courts want to do the right thing. But if you're familiar with how things happen in Zimbabwe, the judiciary itself is captured, the police are captured, everything is run from, I believe, this is my belief, my own perception, that everything is run by ZANU PF. That's my belief. And other people may have other beliefs. And I'm adamant that, if all of these different areas of government had the freedom then we wouldn't be where we are today. Look at France. Sarkozy is in prison. He was a president, but they put him in prison. And so in Europe, in most European countries, if it doesn't matter who you are, how high up the ranks you are, they will send you to prison if they convict you and find that there's a problem. Here in the UK, the COVID issue is still ongoing. The leadership that was there then Boris Johnson was giving evidence. So they're still chasing him up to now because, you know, something that he said during COVID. Should they find that there's a case against him, don't be surprised if you start reading in the papers that some action has been taken against Boris Johnson and a lot of the people that were in government with him at the time. But that is not the case in Zimbabwe. It's a different scenario. And so we are here. What we are going to do now is just listen to music. So change radio, if you can give us a song for a minute or so. And if anyone wants to come up and speak, please feel free to speak so that it's just not me and Kuzai who are speaking. The space will finish at 8 o'clock. This was just to raise some awareness. We will do more spaces to continue standing in solidarity with Madzibaba Veshanduko, because we don't want this to be a one-off thing. We want it to be continuous. We are also engaging other organizations that are supportive or who are human rights organizations to also raise their voices through the Foreign Commonwealth Development Office to ask them to question the government about this, because it needs to happen. Whether or not they take note of it is another matter. What's important is that other governments are raising voices. I know that the Swedish ambassador have raised, I saw a tweet, not one tweet, but in the past, they have spoken out against human rights violations. We've got the American embassy. So the embassies I know that will sort of speak out and send a tweet. The US embassy, the Swedish embassy, the British embassy is a bit mute at the moment. There used to be an ambassador who has really, really spoken out. But since she left, the two ambassadors after her have been a bit mute. But that won't stop us from reaching out to their offices and asking them to speak out. It's almost like, you know, in this type of scenario, when some of our fellow citizens' rights are violated, we shouldn't keep quiet. We should come together and speak out. And I fully understand that on the ground, people get very scared to speak out because they don't know who's following them. They don't know who's after them. It feels as if the country has been silenced, but we can't continue to be silent. There's a lot at stake. When I spoke earlier, I talked about the 23rd agenda and the fact that it's a no. It's a no. We're not going to have the 23rd agenda. You know, sometimes I wish I was much younger because I was quite radical when I was younger. But, you know, as you grow older, some of that radicalism, it doesn't go away, but it becomes a different type of being a radical person. I would have been one of those to be on the streets. And yeah, so let me just go back to the link, because now, you know, it does get a bit emotional and annoying to think that we're in this scenario because of a handful of people that have captured the whole country, the whole systems, the way things work. And we have a country where there's no jobs, there's no money, we don't even have our own currency. We have millions of Zimbabweans struggling and suffering. Most of us have come away from Zimbabwe to come and earn a living. There's such a mass exodus of Zimbabweans going everywhere and going to countries where you would never imagine that Zimbabweans would go to. And, you know, in some countries where the human rights are even worse than Zimbabwe, and you fear for those Zimbabweans in those countries that they've gone to, because they are all seeking to do whatever they can to earn a living, to look after their families. So with regard to the donation for Madzibaba Veshanduko, there is the link for the donation in the tweet that was sent out by Change Radio, but also it's pinned on here. So if you are able to go into the pin, please do so and then do a donation. And I want to say thank you to the Zimbabweans that have given £60. So it's a human rights group. They've given £60 to go towards Baba Veshanduko. So if we can give a bit more, so at least he gets 200 to 300 pounds, that will help him in prison and it will also help his family. So I'm just going to ask General, I can't see your whole name. I'm going to keep quiet and ask you to come up and speak. Thank you.
Thank you so much, co-host, Sis Patricia Munofarere. Maakadiko atereri. Tinoda kutenda, yes, it's General Stole. Arikutaura. So, on the issue yatakatarisana nayo ku Zimbabwe, tese I think tasvika pakuunderstanda kuti we are on an economic revolution. Unfortunately, ma problems edu tine nyika mbiri munyika imwe chete. Kune vari kurarama zvakanaka, kune vari kurwadziwa. Asi pakati pevari kurwadziwa, youth ndo yanyanya kuvharirwa. Ndava kuyouth haisiri kuaffectwa nenzara chete, iri kuaffectwa neramangwana. So what we are seeing now is the reaction of the affected generation. So it's unfortunate kuti the regime iri kutadza kunzwisisa, because they are focused on power, of which the issue is not about power, it's about the progress. It's not about protecting the wealth and securing the proceeds they get from the resources of the nation. It's about the future. So that friction, generational transition, is now causing a chaos. I think the first chaos is on the narrative. One way or the other, youth yedu ina mixed feelings over this matter, of which what was running short over everything was the unit of purpose, which actually the revolution is on its own. It has played a greater role. Ndiyo chete yakwanisa kuva an umbrella inounganidza vanhu with one agenda, with the same feelings of saying zvinhu hazvisi kufamba zvakanaka. So the threat yavapo ndiyo yava nezvaakuitika izvi, nekuda kwekuti vanhu vaakuita chivindi chekutaura ndivo vanhu vaakuteererwa, vachibatwa, vachisungwa, vachiita zvese, of which hazvaifanirwa kudaro. A government dai kuri kuti yanga iri mugiya yekuda kunzwisisa kuti chii chiri kutaura vana. Vana vari kungotaura kuti mashandiro amaakuita pakutonga nyika yedu nezviwanikwa zvayo hazvichatigadzirire ramangwana. But unfortunately, hatina vanhu vari ready kuteerera mashoko iwayo. Saka we are bound to face a lot of problems. Zvekuti kudai zvaibvira youth yese yaitovharirwa, nekuda kwekuti message yeyouth haichinji. Message yeyouth iri kudhiraivhiwa nezvinhu zviri paground. Kana tichiti maticha havasi kuwana mari, tiri kutaura zvinhu zvatinoona every day. Kana tikati pane massive brain drain munyika, wese atoti dzidzei anofanirwa kutsvaga kamukana kekubuda munyika. Hakuna nyika inobudirira kana vacho vanofanirwa kuisa the energy ichiri renewed vachitiza nyika iyoyo. Ndo zvimwe zviri kuti affect. Saka kana tichiti nyika yedu haigoni kuvakika nekuti wese anofanirwa kucontributa is being forced out because of the economic hardships dziri munyika. It's a fact iyoyo, hakusiri kutaura zvinhu zvinopesana negovernment. It's unfortunate kuti vanhu vakafanana naMadzibaba Veshanduko handivo vega, vakawanda. I think there's the first 10 vakatanga kusungwa. Vanhu ivavo vese vari kuacta in response to the pain yavari kunzwa sevana veZimbabwe vari kurarama munyika mavo, kushingirira, that is patriotism yavainayo. But taita government iri kutadza kunzwisisa mashoko because it's a word which is being said out. Vese vana comrade Saruwaka iso pano, we speak the very same thing. We are not attacking the government based on things which are not on the ground. We are attacking the government with clear communication yemaproblems ari kusangana nevanhu. Chokwadi kuti war veterans vanomira 4 hours vakamirira $25 yavari kupiwa kupera kwemwedzi kuti vagone kurarama. Ichokwadi kuti wese akasenza kwemakore akaita mhuri ane vana more than 7, vamwe vacho vachiri kuzvikoro, akaenda kupension, munhu iyeye anopiwa $50 yonzi iblanket fee yemapension nekuda kwokuti mari hadzina kufamba zvakanaka kunasa. Maproblems ese ari munyika, amongst the issue yekuti vanhu havasi kukwanisa kuafforda 3 meals, decent meals a day. Vana vanoswera vachidzingwa, vamwe vabereki vakuenda kunobhadhara maschool fees vachishandisa zvipfuyo. Maticha acho anoraramawo nema-extra lessons kuvana. Maproblems iwayo. So kana taakuti isusu nyika haisi kufamba zvakanaka, and chakonzera kuti tinge tiri panzvimbo yatiri inyaya yekuti ZANU-PF hamusiri kuita inclusivity towards your bid for power. Muri kusegregata vamwe, and you are now focused on defending power more than the way you are defending the future. That message iri kuuya kuzoita set a platform of generational transition, because isu we are feeling sidelined. Time is on our side, age is on our side, but the doors are closed. So we are likely to see a lot of problems happening in Zimbabwe. Unfortunately, vashoma vari kunzwisisa zviri kuitika, but this is not a type of a revolution which we were expecting to actually use a radical approach. It was just a matter of ideological friction yatinenge tichichinjana mafungiro nekutaura nezvatinofunga, and understand. Saka zvese izvozvo it's becoming a chaos because the regime is not ready to be challenged, simply because people are protecting the proceeds they have actually accumulated through the dodgy deals and all these types of leadership they are advocating for. So my words are going straight to the youth, that as we can see a lot of our people being incarcerated, this is a clear message that we are in a war, and that war we need to make sure that we support each other and keep on advocating for what we want to see on the ground. Because as long we still have to see the family separating each other, kuti baba vanosenza ku-UK, mai vari kuita vari kushanda mumakitchen muSouth Africa, that cannot go. It doesn't serve a future for a generation, but Zimbabwe is generational. Mazon, ZANU-PF can come and go, but Zimbabwe will stay forever. So this is a message which needs to be pushed, especially on our people who does not understand much. The majority doesn't understand the dynamics of politics and how it plays a role in shaping the future and setting a precedence to another generation, which we must advocate for their well-being. And we are still standing for that. We are sending this message straight to ZANU-PF, and we are going to make sure that we vow not to keep quiet. We know they are in control of the machinery of everything which can actually wipe us away. But a word is not a bullet. A word is a word. It shall stand, and it will stand forever. We are going to fight for our rights and making sure that the message will be heard. If it happens that we die, we are going to die speaking, because the speaking is not destroying. We are Zimbabweans. A gun which is pointed to a fellow black brother is a betrayal, as according to what we believe. But if they want to point their guns, let them point their guns. What they are doing in their leadership style is not serving the generations, including us who are existing, not talking of those who are coming. And because of that, I think we are still going to rise the more of Saruwakas, the more of Madzibaba Veshandukos, the more of Apostle Mapengos and all these other people. We are not speaking of the war veterans who are now attempting to fight the second struggle in black people's leadership, because mukaona vana baba vakarwa hondo vakudzoka kuya kuzojoina machi yevana pakutaridza kuti pane dambudziko. So I hope one day we are going to have a listening government, and which is going to take the youth not as a threat but actually put them on the table to understand. I close.
Thank you very much for that. And I think all the points that you brought along are really important. The fact that it's a government that is failing to listen to its people and reacts in a way to silence. I think that's what dictatorship is all about, isn't it? They never want to listen to the people. As far as they're concerned, we should all just keep quiet, carry on in our poverty whilst they enrich themselves. I'm going to keep quiet and ask Mambo Shoshe to come and speak because we are finishing quite early tonight. So over to you, Chief Shoshe.
Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, Kudzi, other speaker, General. We appreciate you for coming here, Change Radio the Worst. Thank you, and all those that are here. Thank you for coming to be in solidarity with Madzibaba Veshanduko. Solidarity is one of our cornerstones as um, um, defenders of the struggle, participants of the struggle, defenders of the Constitution, and also as a democratic alternative. We have to be in solidarity with each other. We have to stand with each other in times of strife, in times of problems like we have right now. Our comrade, our fellow brother, Godfrey Karembera, also known as Madzibaba Veshanduko, a very brave man, a very courageous son of the soil, is in incarceration right now. He is incarceration defending what is right, defending what every patriotic citizen should be defending, doing what every Zimbabwe loving citizen should be doing. And what pains me as I speak now is there are some people who may even be pointing fingers at people like the General or Madzibaba Veshanduko, saying, why are they getting involved in these ZANU-PF factional fights? I've been very clear and very emphatic from the beginning, speaking out and standing with the people that are defending what is right. This is not a ZANU-PF factional fight. I've always been saying that. And a lot of people don't understand it. A lot of people don't get it. This is how ZANU-PF operate. They give you something and you start playing around with it. And you even say ZANU-PF are not going to do it. This is stupid. This is silly. ZANU-PF will go on and do that silly thing and that stupid thing, and you see it working. That's what they have been doing all this time. We will be there, we'll be watching, and at the end of the day, we wonder what happened. There's no reason for us to wonder. Yes, it started with ZANU-PF in Bulawayo during their yearly conference 2024, and this year they repeated the same thing and voted for the First Amendment or whatever they call it in Mutare. And now we have something that is no longer only affecting the people in ZANU-PF. It's now going to infringe on the national constitution. So the moment it infringes on our constitution, on Zimbabwe's constitution, it ceases being a factional fight. It ceases being a ZANU-PF thing or a ZANU PF internal fight. It already transcends that. But we shouldn't be seeing it now. We should have seen it then, even in Bulawayo, even when they were going to Mtari. We should have seen that, and we should have reacted. And now I still even hear some people saying, we are going to see what to do. We are going to deal with them when it comes, when they bring in the referendum. Why are you waiting for the referendum? What if the referendum never comes? Why are you not defending the constitution now? Some people are saying we will deal with them at parliament level. Which parliament are you talking about? We shouldn't, we should have started this a long time ago. We should have been defending we knew where this was heading. But sometimes maybe, I don't know whether you can call it cowardice or anything. I wish we all had the guts, the bravery, and the courage that people like Madzibaba have, and would have started fighting this a long time ago. But that, as it may, it's not too late. As Zimbabweans, we need to come together, we need to organize ourselves, and we need to start defending the Constitution. We fought for this Constitution. We were involved, some of us were involved in this Constitution. We were beaten up when this Constitution was being being written. You know what was going on in Masvingo during the time of the constitution writing, when ZANU PF was campaigning for their vote and the opposition was campaigning for their vote. People were beaten up. I literally was made to swim in a pond of water somewhere in Masvingo. It wasn't a pond, it's just water on the ground. And you are being forced to swim there and you are being beaten. Because as a teacher, you are being told that you are the ones that are telling the people to vote this way and that way. So we fought for this constitution. And we shouldn't be allowing anyone to tamper with it, to trample upon it just like that. We fold our arms and we allow ZANU PF and a certain group of individuals, or if you can call them individuals, a certain group of morons to run roughshod over the people's constitution. That should never be allowed in any country. Even in the adopted countries where we live here, when someone tries to touch the constitution, there is fire, there is war. People go to war in defense of the constitution. Some get arrested in defense of the constitution. Some even die, they lose blood in defense of the constitution. But we choose to fold our arms and watch while the ZANU PF is doing what they're doing with our constitution. That's not the way to go, guys. That's not the way we should be doing it. Let's come together. Let's unite. This is what is called unity of purpose. There are some people in ZANU PF. I know people who start. I was even labeled at one time that Chief Shoshe is now supporting ZANU PF, is supporting Chiwenga. That's nonsense. We're talking about the constitution here. This has nothing to do with Chiwenga. This has nothing to do with Geza. Geza is just doing whatever he's doing, whether he's playing his part, however you translate it. But to me, Geza was someone who was doing what I would do if I would get a chance to do it. If I was brave enough to do it, I would do exactly what Geza was doing. And every Zimbabwean should have been doing what Geza was doing or is still doing, defending the constitution. There may be connotations that people may come up with, but at the end of the day, it comes down to the issue of our constitution. You watch the constitution being trembled upon. 2030, Mnangagwa gets it. And tell you what, it's not going to end there. You give a dictator an inch, he will take a kilometer. The next thing that you're going to see is that we're going to suspend the election for the next 10 years. So what do you do now? You were busy saying it is an ZANU-PF internal issue. The constitution has been changed. And Mnangagwa will say, yes, I said, I'm a constitutionalist. I am acting according to the Constitution because the Constitution would have been changed. And there he is. Politicians lie. They always lie. You think he's going to feel anything because he told the world that he's a constitutionalist? He won't feel anything. Nothing. So we shouldn't be waiting because when I was laughing one day one of these the whole of last week in some of our groups, former CC groups, some people were even talking about, let's prepare for elections, guys. Let's prepare for 2028. I know, is this person normal? Preparing for 2028? 2028 might never even come. Some people are just thinking of elections because some of them just want to go to parliament. They want to get to council. They want to, grab this seat and that seat and get the benefit that come, from it. They're not thinking about the country. They're not thinking about themselves. I mean, they're just thinking about themselves. They're not thinking about the generations that are going to come after them that would have become paralyzed because of what we are allowing, something that is happening under our watch. So, as I learned, ladies and gentlemen, let's come together. Let's when we fight, if you have read the book Out of War, your enemy at some point becomes your colleague, becomes your comrade, because you are being affected by the same things. If we are going to fight after we have fought this battle and we have won it, and then we start fighting again with that one who used to be my enemy, who has become my friend for now because we have common values for now, and then we fight, so be it. But if we can join hands now and fight this cabal that is trying to mess around with our constitution, so be it. There are not even many people. There are not many. There are just a few people. This is one thing that I like about ZANU PF. Like in quotation marks. When they are fighting, when there is something is happening, they'll be yeah. Like Mnangagwa is the most loved person. 2 weeks down the line, things change. It will be something else. If it is Chamisa, it will everyone will be on them. Maybe that's a Zimbabwean thing. I don't know. But I'm telling you, we are being given issues by just a few people. It's just a cabal. We can deal with these people if we come together, if we unite as Zimbabweans and start planning together. There are things that we can talk about, what Comrade Geza should have done to bring in all citizens, to bring in all the people, to bring in all the stakeholders, and then would have done one big good thing. And I can tell you, it's still not late for that to happen. Those that are here, General and others, Kudzai and many others, let's find a way of coming together, bringing forces together. There is power in unity. Let's not look at that person as that person as that person. Let's look at each other as Zimbabweans who have a common problem that need to be dealt with. And then we come together, build one strong platform, and we go after them. We'll get them. And as I finish, let's do something for our comrade Madzibaba Veshanduko. Is somebody's father, is somebody's husband. He is the breadwinner, but right now he is languishing in prison. Whatever you can do, if you can, give the family something, give him something when he is in prison. Please, let's do so. Those who can donate, those who can share this link with other people, those who can go and talk to their neighbors, to their friends, that we have a comrade who is incarcerated, he needs help, and you give them the link. Let's do that so that at least Comrade Madzibaba Veshanduko will be saying, my family is okay while I'm here. How painful is it that Madzibaba will see his wife coming to see him, and the wife will be telling him that the children are not going to school. The children didn't eat yesterday. If he was there, definitely you would have provided. So whatever we can do in solidarity, let's do it. If we can do this for Madzibaba, as we have done before, as we have done for others before Madzibaba, it helps the spirit of our struggle. That even when we call for another demonstration, people get arrested, they will know that some people are going to stand with me. My family is going to be fine. They will not be good, but they will be fine. They will get at least whatever they can to survive. Let's help Madzibaba Veshanduko. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chief Shoshe. And I think you've had a lot of good points there. The one about unity, that is the most critical one. If we can stand united, regardless of whether we like each other or not, I think that will scare the regime. And that's the last thing that they want. They want to shut down every voice. Every voice. At the moment, there's no formal political party in Zimbabwe, opposition political party, although there are some little ones, but we never hear about them. And so anybody and anyone that they think is going to infringe upon their privilege of continuing to loot the country, they will arrest. And then what they also do is scaremongering. The way they've treated Madzibaba, he's been severely assaulted. His wife said that he's in pain, and everybody that's going to see him have said that he's in pain. And it's almost like telling the world, telling Zimbabweans that if you dare try to be part of a march, try to speak out against us publicly, this is how we are going to treat you. And what they hope is when they do eventually release Madzibaba, that Madzibaba will never speak again. Because look back in history, since 2018, how many people have died at the hands of the regime? How many people have been silenced at the hands of the regime? Look at what happened to Job Scala. How long he was in prison for being a lawyer of a young woman whose life was ended by members of ZANU PF. And so it almost feels it's a strategy. It's something that they've built into how they do things to make sure that they silence until nobody raises their hands, raises their head. But we are not going to stop talking. We are going to keep talking. And the way that we stand in solidarity is in different ways. And Chief Shoshe has already touched on that. If you can share this tweet, share the link. If you are able to give, please give that $1, that $5. Don't stop giving it, because if 100 people give $1, that's $100. If they give 5, that's $500. So whatever small amount you have, please click on that link and help us to help our fellow brother in arms, because we are at war at the moment. We are at war. We want Zimbabwe to be free. We want our country to have the freedom of speech. We want people to start rebuilding their lives. When we have new leaders, we know that the country can go forward. With what we have currently, the country is never ever going to go anywhere. What we are going to experience every time and again is the shutting down of voices, the arrest of those who are not politically affiliated to the current regime, and we can't allow that to happen. So I'm just going to keep quiet for a moment and see if there's anyone else that wants to come up and speak, and then I'll come back to Kudzai and just ask if you have anything else that you want to add, anything that you want to ask Chief Shoshe, because you were right in the middle of everything that was happening, and some of the people were not here at the moment, at the time that you spoke about your experiences, and how Madzibaba then got arrested and he ended up in prison. So I'll just give you a moment to speak again. Thank you.
Will you allow me to speak in Shona?
Yeah, of course. Do go ahead. You can speak Shona, you can speak Ndebele, although I can't speak Ndebele Hangu, but please do go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. My comrades, the situation at the end, tine a different situation iri muZimbabwe. Yekuti tajaira politics. then taapa nguva yerevolution. Revolution inouya kana paita an enemy kwete a competitor. Munyika mawe an enemy. Ndosaka muri kuona vanhu vakubatana to fight nekuprotectana. Izvezvi nyaya yekuabhusa constitution, tese tichitaridzira mutemo wakanyorwa taifungidzira kuti zvakanyorwa ichauya through referendum and this and that, without a clear understanding yekuti enemy yakaplana chii. Vari kutomborespecta here constitution yacho. When we all noticed kuti constitution yacho havasi kuirespecta, ndo patakatanga kutsvagana kuti vaimboonetsana vari kumativi ekuku. Please, neusiku Nicodemusly, shamari, ona vanhu vari kuronga kuti, vanhu vari kuronga kuti. It's not easy because a revolution comes with a lot of resistance. Because inenge enemy kana ichipinda inopinda in a very good strategy. Because inenge yaplana for a long period before imimi muruda kudefenda musati mamboplana against it. Taenda kudemonstration yadedzerwa naCommander Geza ya17. Kana panga paine a way of promoting the demonstration, maybe it was Wednesday, Thursday, but the demonstration first day was on Friday. Right? So, zvaitika izvozvo, tese we had people from opposition, ma-activists, and whoever wakaparticipata, ma-war veterans, wakauya wakaparticipata in that demonstration. But there was a heavy hand yekuti hapana vanhu vakakwanisa kuita gather around vakademonstrate. That much people must know. That's on Friday. Then on Saturday, there is something which happened chisiri kuzivikanwa in public. And izvozvo zvakaitika on Saturday, that's why muri kutiona tiri pano. Kutiona tiri pano hazvina kungoitika. It's very difficult to see us. Maybe I'm wondering who are we. Inini, I'm an activist. I'm not a politician. I'm an activist. But why am I here? It is because of what happened on Saturday. Friday paitika zvakaitika. There were comrades from the opposition. Wakati Saruwaka, we need to meet and you don't need to say anything. We now need to talk issues. We met those comrades. Tikavabvumidza kuti vataure. Vakati tiri kuona zvese zvamuri kutraya kuita nema-challenges amuri kufesa. Suppose we are going to have another chance. Isisi we have experience of this and we have the people. Province yamuri kuitira zvinhu izvi province yeopposition, saka hamuna demonstration inosumuka without us. You were not involving us pese pamaita izvi. And isiso hatina instruction from the principal but decide because tisu tarwadzirwa. Saka we are now in charge teererai zvatiri kutaura. And they said what they said. But when they were talking with us, I had also comrades wandabva nawo from the ruling party, from my affiliates, from the civil society. Pakati pevanhu panosangana more than 10 people, hapashaiki mutengesi. That's the message yandiroda kupa mhuri yeZimbabwe, because this information hamuna. Paitika that information yakaenda kunotengeswa kunzi Saruwaka asangana nevanhu veopposition. And if there is any chance yekuti a demonstration is going to be called by Geza the next day or any other day, we are finished. Ndo zvakaita kuti pabude that messaging yakabuda on a Sunday. Yekuti isisi tiri kutsvagwa nepolice naMadzibaba Veshanduko zvichinzi tanga tichidistributa maflyers. Those are lies There is nothing connected to that, especially in Indakazvimirira. Right? The issue yanga iripo ndeyekuti there was an instruction which was given by the system kuti wawana intelligence yekuti tasangana vanhu from both the ruling party and the opposition for the next demonstration, and iyoyo hairegedze kuannouncewa it is coming. Ndo zvakaita kuti paitwe this hand. So ndosaka manzwa paya ndichitaura kuti kana paine chinhu chinotyiwa neregime is the unit of the mass. Saka zvanga zvichitaurwa namambo, pakanzi mambo Soswe, kuti nyaya yeconstitution, pataibva about constitution, we don't have anyone to blame. Because work opposition, they thought kuti kana constitution ichiamendwa in those lines, inofanirwa kuenda through the referendum, and we are the majority, we are going to defeat them per referendum. Now they want to bypass that referendum using wakaita sana Glenn Mpani nana Professor Jonathan Moyo. Ndio situation yatafesa now, because they are trying to dribble their process, but they know kuti nyaya iyi ikaenda kumass they will never win, because mass yeZimbabwe yabatana. So they want to use the parliament yacho yavari kuziva kuti they have grabbed chabangu ku-opposition, and ivo vasara vacho vari kuZANU PF muparliament, they are in charge. So what will come out from a parliament at the benefit of the people? Kana mimi muri kutarisira kuti there is vanhu vaMnangagwa and vanhu vaChabangu, it means the mass is defeated. Saka taonesana ipapo kuti vakomana zvinhu zvamira zvakadai. That's when the whole of Zimbabwe decided to join hands and fight this 2030 agenda together. Ndosaka muri kuona tiri pano. Then taona kuti masi yeZimbabwe yanzwisisa now. But pane vanhu vari more experienced to handle this. So my organizations ese are more experienced. Ndo ata kuti isisu tiri grade 7. Asi nenhau yema-connections atanga tiinawo takaonera tsoro iyi kudhara. Asi wane hunyanzvi, please tibatsirei titungamirire pachinhu ichi, since taakufighta the common enemy. That's why we are following whoever ane expertise nestructure iri in place, iri kufighta in support of the people's agenda. Ndo zvaita kuti tive pano. Saka this message ndanchifungidzira kuti ingada kuzikanwa nevanhu in support of the point yanga ichitaurwa naMambo Soswe, kuti we don't have an option except to unite, because as the mass of Zimbabwe we are the majority. Vanhu vakawanda kudarika zvigananda. Ndo patiri. I think that's all I can say for now.
Thank you very much, Zay, for just giving us more clarity about how things happened and all the other conversations that you are having with others in Zimbabwe of like mind. I don't know if Mambo Soswe, you have anything that you want to add to there or to ask questions. But what I liked about what you said is that unity yakakosha zvikurisa. Because if we are divided as the people, and are not united, then the regime are going to go ahead and do whatever it is that they are doing. And you've already mentioned the point, they are trying to bypass how they should do things by following what the Constitution says. It's clearly laid out in the Constitution. They want to bypass all of that and do a coup. And just capture everything. And, our parliament is not a parliament. I'm sorry, it is not a parliament. It's just a bunch of captured individuals sitting there and getting the benefits, getting the big cars, getting whatever else it is that they get. because they don't speak out. I rarely hear a lot of the MPs that are sitting in there that were elected by the people are speaking out against these issues. So it's up to us, the people, to raise our voices. And for the brave ones who are on the ground, such as yourself, tinozviziva kuti zvine risk, zvine danger, zvinhu izvozvo izvi. Nokuti munenge matariswa manje, makuteerwa, makuitwa sei. Saka, the prayer is that God keeps you safe. Because we know the regime, kuti kana vatotanga nemunhu so vatomuona vanenge automupedzisa. We know that that's what they do. And so we pray for you and we pray for your protection.
So just a quick one, maybe people need to know.
Yeah.
Comrade Traore is behind bars as we speak, according to the information which we got. Zimbabwe ikoko. He sneaked into Zimbabwe and he thought he was hiding. We have to verify that information, but as we speak, he is behind bars according to the information which we have.
So which means kuti pane munhu anenge akatengesa. If anenge akataurira somebody and then munhu iye akatengesa, like you said, kuti you're with a group of individuals, panobva 1 or 2 wana Judas Iscariot ipapo vanoenda vachinotengesa vamwe, and you'll never know kuti ndiani akamutengesa, which is not fair. But if you do have confirmed information, please do let us know, and then we can we can tweet about it and we can highlight it so that Zimbabwe can also know about what's going on, that others might not be.
I will definitely do that because intelligence yakakwana tichaiwana. It's only that in the deeper space zvimwe pane messages ari kupinda ndisiri kuona. Asi chandoda kukurudzira vari kutungamira revolution, please don't do things privately. Famba nemasi, famba newanhu, zvakakosha izvozvo, because we are in a struggle. Masi ndio inokuprotecta. Isisi kutiona tiri pano hatina kuprotectwa neintelligence, takaprotectwa newanhu. Saka ndo zvandoda kukurudzira mhuri yese yeZimbabwe kuti famba nemasi.
Thank you so much for that. Mukoma Dobbs, do you want to come up and speak? Thank you.
Many things. Tinotenda ne-space, tinotenda ne-solidarity, tinotenda ne-information. Vamwe hatitombori mapolitician kana hatatosvika age yayo yekutoti zvishabetseri, tatosvika retirement, though tisina chatinacho. Kana ipo pacho pekuti wakangoseedza uchazopiwa 50, munototaura vanhu vari asi anotoda kutotorerwa mvura rautowana iroro ndonoda kutotorwa. So everybody, I think, yes, something to fight for per constitution, because the intention iri kuda kuitiwa muri kuiziva. Patoitwa zvinhu zvakawanda zvematrail sign. One of them was the issue where they said the communal lands belongs to the president, which was a misinterpretation of law. And the issue of kuti kune mapepa ari kucirculate kuti kuri kufomwa Royal Army, Royal Police, if the Mutapa things goes on, if the 2030 goes on, and then we move on to a monarchy. Let's fight this now. Using whatever mistake, we only use our words to say no to 2030. Let's revert to our constitution. We also have to use our words to say no to any ZANU-PF resolution which affect us. We must also zoom to the second resolution, which they are saying the party is bigger than the government. Think of ZANU-PF who is forming that party. I'm not being rude to some of the ZANU-PF supporters and the sympathizers. The people who formed the party, who are all the core leaders of the party, they were all not elected. Some of them even failed to win by election. A good example is the one who wanted to change the constitution, who is leading to change the constitution. We have taken as a legal secretary in the Politburo, and is a still member of parliament, not really a member of parliament, he's still cabinet minister for legal. And that person was appointed, not elected. But think of what they are. Their intention now. They are not coming from the people, and they don't have sympathy to us. So we must understand the people whom we are fighting. Let's continue uniting, and let's share the message, the good message we have. We understand to say we have so many people who have been arrested from both sides, ZANU PF and opposition. They all need our support. They all need our solidarity. The moment we start knowing about them, their names and so forth, let's just support them so that the revolution keeps on going. And the message which is coming from our generals to say on the next demonstration, we are going, let's participate. That message must go to the people now, not to wait until that day is announced. Everybody needs to understand to say when Geza called for demonstration, we need to participate because it's about our constitution. I'm not a ZANU PF supporter or a Geza fan, but I support his idea of stopping in 2030. I support his idea of stopping Uganda from looting our resources. I resonate with them. So when he calls for that demonstration, the message must go to say it's not about ZANU PF. It's about defending our constitution. It's about stopping Uganda taking over everything and leave us with nothing. I have zoomed on the issue of communal land. We can still go to the resettled area to say we have that land implementation committee, which is being led by Traore, which is illegal, formed outside the constitution. And it's just a parallel. So think of those people, if they are given a chance to loot, to say he is going to control who buys and who sells land in Zimbabwe. And it's only his banks which is going to be used to buy land in Zimbabwe, meaning that he would end up owning the whole Zimbabwe through his bank. So let's be careful and then understand what we are fighting for. The issue of fearing, some of us, we should be fearing because we have seen much. We have seen that war of liberation, but today we are wondering to say what was it for, why people were dying, why people were losing their properties, including their houses, and so forth, because there's nothing which they are benefiting. It seems those ones who were on this other side, the Rhodesians, are the ones who are now controlling everything, including those Ziambe, Chinamasa, Munangagwa, and others. So let's see, motivate the war veterans, the war collaborators. I'm one of them. I don't have to be shy. Let's motivate them to say what did they really fight for with this situation when people like Wicklow are just looting. Now he can give judgment or tell the judge to convict somebody. You can go and zoom to his tweet when he was communicating with Passion Jam and the type of sentence he mentioned. You will realize it's the same type of sentence which was given to Mbofu and Ichmombe. For the sake of time, let me just end here, but that message of politicize everybody, mobilizing everybody, so that everybody understands to say this is our fight. It's no longer for this is a citizen fight. It's no longer for any political party. It's no longer an individual fight. Let's listen to the message, not to spend our time analyzing the message. Thanks, everybody. I repeat my mic. Your mic, co-host and host.
Thank you very much for that. So I think there's a theme running through, all of our speakers, and that we need to come together. We need to unite in order to fight the fight that we're in against the regime, so that they don't continue to destroy what they've been destroying over the last 45 years. So we've been under this rulership for 45 years. And it was only at the beginning, I think the first 5 years, when the country was in a good shape. And after that, is one of the highest countries Zimbabwe is renowned for. And we cannot have that continue. So please, for those who are able to give, click on the link on this space. There's a link, or looking on the tweet that was sent out by Tech Radio, and help us to help Madzibaba and his family. That's another way that we can support. Some of us are in the diaspora. We're not able to be in Zimbabwe, and we support, stand in solidarity by or $5. Please, if you're able to give. Earlier, I thanked a group of Zimbabweans who've donated £60, and I'd hoped that one of them was going to come to the space, but I've not seen them. So that money is going to go towards Baba and his family. I was in contact today with my Karembera, that's Baba's wife. She's not in a good space. But she's afraid. I mean, we're all afraid for him, but can you imagine his immediate family, his wife? She's the one that has to money. She needs transport to go and see him at the prison. And she'll be watched and followed. We know what happened with Topskal and his wife when the wife was arrested for a car issue, and all of those things were happening because they were trying to deter her from going to visit him. And they will try the same shenanigans with Madzibaba Veshanduko's wife. So let's stand in solidarity with him in that way as well. I don't think there are any speakers anymore, so I'm going to round up now. We should have rounded up at about 8 o'clock. I'm going to come back to you, Chief Shoshe. Do you have any lasting words that you want to say? And then I'll come to Kudzai, and then Dobbs, and then we'll close the space. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. I just want to emphasize on a few important points raised by my brother Dobbs, and I think Comrade Saruwaka also touched on that, and the general earlier on. The issue of reaching out to the people, organizing the people so that the demonstrations are successful. The successful demonstrations that have been held before, from the NERA demonstrations to the other demonstrations before that, the Save Zimbabwe demonstrations organized by Morgan Tsvangirai and others, and then after that, all the other demonstrations that have been held. What we see on the day is a manifestation of what would have happened behind the scenes, the work that people would have done behind the scenes, how people go and mobilize people, talk to people, sometimes word of mouth, flyers, yes, but flyers, they expose you. But there is a lot of work that goes on in the streets, in the locations, everywhere where people live. And that's where the work has to be done. Most of the work has to be done a week or 2 weeks before the demonstration itself. And of course, the issue of resources will always come into play. People need airtime it shouldn't be much. It's just airtime and transport so that people can coordinate. The moment the word is given, of course, some of it will end up in the wrong hands. But the moment the word is given and it starts moving in the grassroots, I can tell you that that demonstration will be successful. So it is important, like others have said, that people should come together. If you need to reach out, please do reach out. There are certain tendencies in Zimbabwe where if someone hasn't called for the demonstration, people will not go out. But in this case, I know what may be stopping people. We can talk behind the scenes, Comrade Saruwaka, if you want to do that. But some of the things that we can talk on public platforms like this are that people need assurances. People need safeguards that what is going to happen, and they want to be involved in everything that is happening. Of course, the intricate details they can be with the organizers, but I think it's important for the people to understand what is going on. We may be here on space. We understand. We are beginning. Some people are beginning to understand that this is beyond ZANU PF factional fights. It's about us. It's about our livelihoods. It's about our constitution. When Emerson Mnangagwa is talking about an extension of term, he's basically saying an extension of the suffering of people, an extension of the looting, an extension of Gananda's reign in Zimbabwe. You know, a lot of people don't understand that. So that needs to get to the people. I don't know how we get it to the people, but we need to get that information to the people one way or another, and that will get people to be in the streets. So, but of course, all that takes a lot of coordination, a lot of back and forth talking and the like, and yeah, so we can talk about that, and if we need to reach out to those that need to be reached out to, so be it. But it's a very crucial time where all Zimbabweans need to come together, regardless of their political affiliation. Let's do this and stop 2030. Let's do this and stop Gananda. And I know that together we can do this. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Like what the co-host say, maybe the last words. I also understand kuti the ground is very fertile for change. But the regime which you are fighting for, tiri kurwa nevanhu vapenyu, hatisi kurwa nemunhu akafa. So they try to reorganize, re-strategize. But nesuwo hatina kupusa. Nyaya yemademonstrations iri kuendera kumberi, izvozvo ndiri kuwirirana namambo Svosve. Asi semunhu ane background ane military background, kana uchitaura nemuvengi, sometimes you have to speak in tongues. Kumilitary kune inonzi phonetic language. Wana alpha, beta, charlie, delta, echo. Ndio language yatabvumirana semhuri yeZimbabwe kuti ndo yataakushandisa. Mukanzwa padedzerwa kunzi demo, ignore about the date, ignore about the place, ignore about who called for the demo. Be on high alert. Chete. Ndo level rataakupinda. Because we now understand all the tools which they are using against the mass. Pakauya signal inoti demo musi wakati, imimi batai wedhi rekuti demo. Demo means be on high alert. Ndiyo message yatakuisa kumuri yeZimbabwe. Date harina basa, place haina basa, aanaunza haana basa. Then momirira muone action. I think ndataura ndapedza. Tinotenda.
Thank you. And Dobbs, your last words. Okay, maybe Dobbs is not is gone off here, but maybe not in the space to speak. So may I take this opportunity to say thank you very much to all of our speakers, to General who's left, to Dobbs, to Kuzai Saruwaka. Thank you so much for coming to share the lived experience, because you have the lived experience and you bring to life what is going on the ground. From a third party perspective, but having you here telling us how it's happening on the ground is so crucial, and having that experience yourself is really important. So thank you so much for standing in the gap for us Zimbabweans, because the fight is not for you and your family. We are fighting for all of us. If Zimbabwe is free tomorrow in a better country, we all want to come back home. We are tired of kugara every time. We are tired. You are a king and queen in your own country. Queen and king in your own country. So thank you so much. We hope that you can come back again, in the future spaces that we are going to do. And to Mambo Shoshe, thank you so much for always being so supportive and being on these spaces and the passion and commitment that you have for change. And to Change Radio, thank you for providing this platform. We really appreciate it. Can you please play us out with a song? But before we do the song, let me remind you about the link and the donations. There's a link right here. If you click into that message, please donate $1, $5. That's fantastic. It will go a long way. We are going to be retweeting to make sure that we get as much money as we possibly can. And everything is accounted for. So when we get money, there's a robust team behind the scenes. All the money is accounted for, and the money would go directly to my Karembera. Ndovanenge vachitambira mari dzavo dzekuvabatsira ivo na champion vedu vari prison. So ndinokutendai mese mauya Manerano. Thank you for taking the time, because it's not easy to leave what you are doing to come and spend. What time did we start? 7 o'clock. Nearly 2 hours. Panning past space. God bless you. Thank you.
Change Radio.